Hi there, and welcome back to the Astra Lumos YouTube channel. Continuing with our current series on the top 10 tips for choosing lighting control, heating control, and audiovisual systems for either your new home or your renovation. On today's episode, we're going to be focusing on ease of use. So see you in a second. Hi there, I'm James. I'm one of the directors here at Astra Lumos, and in today's episode of Ease of Use, we're going to be just thinking about what and who, what do you want from your lighting control, heating control, and audiovisual, but also who are going to be the main users. So if you've obviously got perhaps elderly people staying in the house regularly, perhaps your parents have come to stay with you, or if you've got young children, they may struggle if the system is a little bit technical or a little bit complex. We've seen it loads of times in the past where we haven't been the designer, but we have been the installer of lighting control systems for clients who they know that they want that extra wow factor for their home. They've been sold a system that is probably a little bit too technologically advanced for what they actually need, but they do want the multi-scene ability in common spaces, and also things like the master bedrooms and en-suites and stuff like that. So we have seen it on the sort of the dark side of this, where people have systems that are just too technologically advanced for what they need, whereas something more like a rake, for example. In fact, let me look at this another way. So Dynalight is a very powerful system. It really is designed more for commercial use rather than residential. So when we see Dynalight as a residential system, we always have slight reservations, because unless your property is really big, the chances are either Rayco or Lutron will probably be a better option, because it's the keypads and the switches are just that little bit more user friendly than we find Dynalight to be. For example, a normal Rayco switch has 7 buttons, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, off, up, and down. So by limiting the number of buttons, it means that if you've got not so tech savvy people in the house, makes things that little bit more straightforward. That is my opinion, and my personal opinion. So we do like Dynalight as a system. However, we would only really recommend it for really big projects. So most medium to large homes, something like a Rayco or a Lutron system would be perfectly adequate. Same thing with heating. Okay, heating is probably slightly different in terms of, generally once it's set and it's working how you want it to work, you probably don't have to touch it again. It's more just if you are away, or perhaps somebody's house sitting for you, or you're on your way back from being on holiday, that's probably when you would log into your heating. Or obviously if there's something goes wrong and there's a room that's cold, that should be warm. So heating is probably a bit of an anomaly in this one, in terms of generally once people's heating is working how they want it to work, they don't generally touch it. Audiovisual as well is kind of 50-50. So if it's your house and you are tech savvy, chances are then you would pick the system that really works for you. If you then obviously have older or younger generations now staying with you and they also want to use it, then it's a case of, do you want a physical button that people can go and look and touch and make sure and get it to work from that way? Or do you just want app control in the fact that then people have to come to you and be like, I want to play this, and then you look after them? Bit of a tricky question to answer in terms of ease of use, but as I said, if you want the simplest, best system, as long as you are comfortable with tech, if that makes sense. So, for example, we have a wonderful client who has a Cotswold home, and she isn't the most tech savvy, but what she does want is light and control in her garden. So we used a Reiko with a 7-button keypad, designed the 4 programs for her, and then when she went out to her property recently, she said absolutely love it. On the front garden, where she also has some lighting control, she said, I just want these 2 buttons adjusted so that they are slightly different, which we were able to do remotely, and now it all works exactly. So she doesn't want too much tech, but she wants the fine-tuning of a lighting control system. Hopefully that answers more questions than it raises. However, as I've said before, if it raises a few questions, or perhaps you want to know a bit more information, do reach out. My contact details will be on the video in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video.